Hello and welcome to another Reaconteur video, and in today's video I have a sore throat, but today's video is actually the 11 stages of Galebreathe players. Make sure to subscribe, because only about 20% of the people watching this right now are actually subscribed, and let's get into it. The Galebreathe main is a relatively normal person during stage 1. However, they're also kind of weird and want to be different. The Galebreathe main probably took Gale for one of three reasons. 1. They like mobility options in video games, and Galebreathe being wind-based sounds like it would provide high mobility options and potential for cool combos. 2. They watched the Deepwoken direct and saw the funny ragdoll combos that did half of someone's health bar. Or 3. They want to be different and figure Gale is the least likely option, which is why they pick it. Oh, also 4, Agamatsu used it. And before we get into stage 2, a quick word from today's sponsor. And today's video is sponsored by Factor. Factor is a subscription service which allows you to have fresh, ready-made meals delivered directly to your door every day. Factor's menus are updated weekly with over 27 meals and 34 add-on options that you can get with your food. I know a lot of you watching this are interested in fitness and potentially bodybuilding. Well, Factor allows you to set your nutrition preferences, and they can help you reach whatever weight goals you have for gaining or losing weight. If Factor sounds interesting to you, then make sure to use my link in the description and comment section down below, or go to go.factor75.com and enter the code FACTORSE37012 for 50% off your first box with Factor. And now back to the video. The Galebreathe player has started experimenting with Galebreathe mantras and weapons. In the early days of Deepwoken, the meta was Pale Morning Heavy and Galebreathe with Con Shield. This build is pretty outdated, but nowadays Gale players can be seen playing Petra's Anchor with varying shields, which essentially mirrors the old Gale meta despite Gale being in a very bad spot right now. A lot of Gale players in this stage will even start using weird weapons, like Light, which doesn't really synergize well with Gale. The Gale player has finally realized the true potential that Gale has, not for its mantras, but for its talents. Talents like Wind Step let you double jump, and Gale Lunge is a great option for both mobility and chasing someone in ganks with mantras like Gale Lunge. The Gale user has discovered the curved blade of winds. He now exclusively abuses aftercut and probably auto-clicks M1. And if you didn't know, it's a common occurrence for people to bind mouse button 1 to auto-click M1 when held down, because it swings faster since it has perfect swing inputs. If you do this, you're a loser. Regardless, during the metamancing stage, a lot of Gale players choose to do this, because they think it's more efficient, and I guess they want to avoid carpal tunnel. At stage 5, the nerfs begin affecting the Gale user. Every single update, Gale nerfs, shadow buffs, new shadow mantras. Every update, Gale becomes more stale and underused in the meta because it just keeps getting worse. This causes the Gale user a lot of distress, but they still choose to play Gale because they think that it'll eventually get buffed, and it'll get better as time goes on. It won't. The Galebreathe user can't take it anymore. The constant Gale nerfs, the constant new mantras for other attunements, the constant losses in Chime of Conflict, their sanity begins to crumble. I can't take it anymore. I can't take it. I must kill Archmage and Reaconteur. That's the only way to save Galebreathe. They keep nerfing it. They keep nerfing Gale and buffing Shadow. I cannot take it anymore. They keep ruining my attunement. I need to kill Archmage. The Galebreathe user at this point in Stage 8 attempts one of three things. 1. Assassinate Archmage and Reaconteur, except they don't because they're too fat to leave their chair, so it doesn't work. 2. Kill themselves, except they're too fat to leave their chair, so it doesn't work. 3. Quit Deepwoken and move on to other games temporarily. Many of them rage just enough to completely quit the game, but they usually come back for the next stage. After a lot of rage, the Gale user decides to come back to Deepwoken. He immediately starts playing Gale again to try and redeem himself as a good player. He finds newfound success as his break has lowered his chime elo. Essentially, he thinks he's doing better because he's doing just about the same against worse players. This artificially inflates his ego, but it's a good thing because it makes him more likely to come back to the game. The Gale player begins using what he thinks is the closest to off-meta he can with Gale. Funnily enough, this off-meta build he's talking about is mostly contractor medium Gale builds with the Curve Blade or Kier's Blade. It isn't off-meta just because you changed your oath, but a lot of people seem to think that at this stage. It's not like Gale is meta anymore anyway, so I guess it is kind of off-meta when you really think about it. Regardless, this stage is kind of just a lot of sweating again, except now they're sweating on a non-copy and pasted build that's still competitively viable, but they keep saying it's bad because if they do, then they can use it as an excuse every time that they lose in the Chime of Conflict. Most Gale players will never reach this stage. This is the hidden stage, stage 11, where they are absolutely cracked at the video game. The reason why this stage isn't in every video is because most of their tournaments simply don't require the skill to reach an impressive point, like this one does, as you could with Gale. Can you guys tell that I used to main Gale when I actually played Deepwoken? I know, right? Regardless, stage 11 means you are an absolute god at the game. Nobody can beat you, nobody can outperform you, and you could probably easily get top in Chime if you really tried, and the only reason you don't is because you find Chime as boring as I do. Here's a little montage to get this video to 8 minutes long, and also so I can edit something.